What is good, internet people? Coming to you live from Gainesville. I'm DJ, and this is some more alchemical fitness. Today's topic is transmutation, sort of the essence of alchemy in the popular mind. Of course, in the traditional medieval alchemical practice, you would be transmuting base metals into gold, such as lead or iron, as the starting reagents. And on the more spiritual, more subtle level, of course, you would be transmuting the normal, everyday human spirit into that transcendent godly essence that the alchemists call their noble gold. Well, in alchemical fitness, it's a little bit less spectacular than that. Of course, the ultimate goal is still that subtle transmutation of the spirit, but when we're talking about fitness and working out, the physical side of it, the more gross aspects of the process, are more concerned with body composition and with the aspects of physical achievement. So on the most gross level, just the pure physical plane, we could say that the process of physical training is about transmuting your flesh, transmuting the fatty adipose tissue into lean, strong muscle mass. And certainly that's part of the process. Certainly too much fat is no good for you. It's fine to carry on a little bit of extra body fat beyond the bare essentials, but it starts to become a negative health addition pretty quickly. And here's the thing, it's not too hard to put on muscle mass if you're eating plenty and you're okay with putting on a little fat as well. It's not too hard to put on just a teeny bit of muscle mass without really gaining weight, just by sort of trimming up a little bit, but you're going to make very little progress in terms of the actual weight you're moving around when you do that. It's quite difficult to hit those perfect metabolic targets where you're gaining muscle mass, gaining strength, but not gaining any fat at all. And so if you live in the real world, like I'm sure most folks watching this, your best bet is probably to do it in a multi-phasic process of transformation and transmutation. So that's the gross level, just the pure physical, purely material realm is the fat tissue into muscle mass. But at the same time, somewhere in between the gross material and the subtle, purely spiritual, there's an aspect of transmuting weakness into strength. So I saw this Twitter post one time some years ago. Some Greek statue profile picture guy was like, I love the gym because it's an altar of sacrifice. I sacrifice weakness and pain in the pursuit of beauty and strength and perfection. And if you're the religious Greek statue Twitter poster type, that's all well and good. But the alchemist doesn't just seek to worship, he seeks to transmute. So on this sort of quasi-subtle level, a large focus of fitness is transmuting weakness into strength. Now, coming back around to myself, you might think I'm a pretty strong guy. I spend hours and hours a week at the gym. I'm so into it, I feel the need to make a channel talking about it. But in fact, I'm not actually all that strong. In fact, by comparison's sake, if I'm comparing myself to the people I would want to be compared with, I'm actually quite weak. Now, I could even take that a step further. If I compared myself to the strength standards you see floating around on the internet, I'm basically about where you should be as a 15-year-old kid who's been to the gym once or twice a week for 2 or 3 months, maybe asked your mom to make you some more chicken for dinner so you can put on some muscle, and within 2 or 3 months, as a totally untrained 15-year-old, you should expect to see results that are about comparable where I'm at as a aging adult. So here's the deal. If I was training since I was 15, I'd be super jacked. I'm right about 2 years of actually training in the gym for focused on power lifts. Calling what I'm doing powerlifting is like calling your high school algebra homework doing math. Like the same thing, but compared to the people who actually do it, you're not really doing it. And I've been doing that since May of 2023. It is now There goes the kitty. It is now January 19th of 2025, so that's coming up on like 20 months since I've been back to the gym. Now, to be fair, I was cutting for 2.5 months in the spring last year, and then for another 3 months, I was doing this hybrid run training thing where it was like the weightlifting was secondary to the running. Hardly made any gains for those 3 months, so I'm maybe like 5 or 6 months down. Maybe 14 or 15 months of total strength training. And well, you can see right where I'm at because I'll roll the footage while I'm talking. So on the squat, I started out doing pretty solid squats with not too much weight. And over the first summer, I was putting on 5 pounds a session, like the people on the internet told me to, and I was up 40 pounds by the end of summer. Then I did a form check and I realized I'd gone from doing a pretty decent squat to about a quarter of a squat. So it's been a battle with that. I kind of set myself up doing bench squats for a while so I could progress on weight without worrying about the form. This year I finally got the form down. As you can see, single rep max was 264 pounds, which is 2 red plates, so 120 kilograms. You kind of got the first rep, tried to go for 2, knew the second one wasn't going to happen, but that's where I'm at in terms of my squats. Next lift in the progressive order would, of course, be the bench press. And bench, I've had the most struggles in really 2 aspects of it. I've really struggled to make actual progressive gains, but I've also lost a huge amount of strength every time I do the dieting thing and cut weight. My bench press strength just plummets. So even though I can make solid gains, I feel like what I'm doing is working. I drop so much in the springtime and when I cut that progress is really difficult. So you can see I'm not even up to 2 plates. I'm working on it. 2 plates should be doable. Not in the next few months as I diet down, but should be doable within certainly within this year of training. So there's the bench. Thought about throwing another 5 pounds on there. Maybe could have pulled it off, but it would have been a stretch. Now along with squat, bench, and deadlift, I feel that's not a complete lifting program. You got to do the overhead press. It's the most fun lift, and you know, it looks the coolest, and it's also the least taxing on your system, so it's not too hard to slip it into the routine. So definitely focus more on the bench in terms of my upper body training than the overhead press, but I got the most satisfying results on the overhead press. I was really trying to get up to 1 plate, and as you can see, that was like my long-term goal, so I guess I'll try and get up to 1 red plate as another thing to train towards. But yeah, overhead press was fantastic. That brings us around to the deadlift. Now I actually managed to exceed my own expectations. I hit, I think, 135 with just a chalk. I don't mind throwing on straps for the deadlift maxes. You know, it's not about how strong my grip is, about how strong my entire posterior chain is and hamstrings and such. So I hit 143 with straps, and that moves so smoothly that I'll see how the footage edits in. I have no idea how long I'm talking for, how long my B-roll lasts for. But anyway, I rolled it all the way up to 144. I figured 144 is a very nice number. 143 is kind of odd and not quite there. So made it to 144 on the deadlift. So those are my numbers: 264 squat, 209 on the bench, which was what is that, 50, 75, 95 kilos. Not quite there on the 2 plates on the bench, but getting there. I was right at like 135 or 136 on the overhead press, because it's a 133 from the 60 kilos, and then I think I threw on another 1.5. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but whatever. 1 plate on the overhead press, and it was like 317 on the deadlift for that, what was it, 144 kilos. So that's where I'm at. So here's the deal. When I go to the gym, I'm transmuting weakness into strength. I'm not in denial about it. I'm not telling myself, oh, I'm super jacked, bro. Like, I can go on the internet and see how other people are lifting. And honestly, I work out at a powerlifting gym, and when I started out, I was the weakest guy there, and, you know, still regularly get mogged by kids who are 2/3 of my age. Pretty much every time I go in the place. But that's okay, because every time I go and work out and put myself under those heavy weights and force myself to push with all that I've got, I am facing my weakness head on. By facing it, by observing it, and by doing what I can to fight against it, that pure struggle of the will that you get in just those few seconds of trying to push out that last grinding rep or those last few inches of that max, by putting myself through the fires of those suffering, I'm transmuting my weakness into strength. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of weakness, so I've got plenty of fuel for a long process of transmutation into strength. So that's pretty much that. I've sort of visually logged all of these maximum lifts. I wanted to do that for once. Not quite get into the numbers I'd like, but you know, it's good to have video evidence. I don't really like filming myself working out all that much. I do it on squats because I got to do a form check every couple of sessions just to make sure I'm going down far enough. But filming my workouts, not really the thing. I'll see how it goes. If people want to watch it, maybe I'll get the camera in there more. But I'll try and keep a limited B-roll footage of the working out. As it gets into springtime, I think I said the cut begins today, actually began yesterday. So not really going to be making any progress on those strength gains in the next few months. In fact, I'll probably be losing a little bit of strength, as is the cost of transmuting that flabby adipose tissue into lean muscle mass. So that's where I'm at, and soon enough I'll be making progress on that particular aspect of transmutation once again. For now, the focus is more on the gross aspects, more on the transmuting the physical flesh, to be more aesthetically appealing and more suited for the task of lifting heavy weights, to which I greatly enjoy subjecting it. So that's about it. I'll try and make more of these videos. I like talking about this kind of stuff, so we'll see how that goes. It's a new phase, so next video topic is going to be on the phases of the alchemical process of transformation, the phases of the physical process of powerlifting, bodybuilding, and strength training, and how those are not really the same, but how we can still tie them together and observe the similarities of the process anyway. So hopefully that was enough time for all the B-roll. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, if there's anybody even watching these videos. I don't know if there even is, but if there is, thanks for watching. Give it a like, and looking forward to making more of these. See ya.